Hey, so I'm actually sitting in this super trendy cafe right now. You know the type. Industrial decor, open kitchen, the whole deal. And this place is buzzing. But then I look across the street, and there's this little food stall that's probably been there for 30 years, and it is just as packed. And you know, it really got me thinking about the big question we're going to tackle today.
Okay, just picture this. Both of these places, the shiny new cafe and the humble old stall, end the year making the exact same amount of profit. So on the surface, you'd think, hey, it's a tie, right? But what if I told you one of them is actually a wildly better business? How in the world would you even know?
Well, the secret, and this is what the pros do, is you've got to look beyond that final profit number. You have to dig a little deeper into what investors call the money-making quality of a business. See, it's not just about how much money a business makes, it's about how well it makes it.
And that is where our secret weapon for today comes in. It's a metric called ROIC, which stands for Return on Invested Capital. This is the special lens we're going to use to see the real story hiding behind those profits. So what exactly is this ROIC thing? At its core, it's all about efficiency. It answers a really simple but incredibly powerful question. To make, say, $10 in profit, how much money did you have to sink into the business in the first place? Think of it like a simple fraction. Up top, in the numerator, you've got the good stuff, the earnings. Specifically, it's the net profit the business makes from its main operations after taxes have been paid. That's the cash that comes out. And then underneath, in the denominator, you've got the investment, all the cash you had to pump in to get the whole thing off the ground. That means the owner's money, any loans, all of it. Okay, so enough with the theory, right? Let's get our hands dirty and actually apply this to our two breakfast spots. It is time for a head-to-head capital efficiency showdown.
All right, stepping into Case A, our slick, modern, American-style cafe. Now, to open a place like this, the owner had to spend a ton of money. We're talking franchise fees, designer furniture, those fancy Italian espresso machines. Man, it adds up fast. This is what we'd call a heavy capital business.
Okay, so let's break it down. To get everything built and ready for customers, the owner put in a total of $3 million. Fast forward 1 year, and after paying all the bills and taxes, the business has made a net profit of $450,000. Not bad, but let's see what the ROIC says.
You do the math, the profit divided by the investment, and what do you get? 15%. So, what does a 15% ROIC actually mean in the real world? It means that for every $100 the owner poured into this business, they're getting just $15 back in profit each year. The analogy here is perfect. It's like a flashy sports car. It looks awesome, it's fast, but man, it is thirsty. It just guzzles capital to keep running. Okay, now let's pivot. We're crossing the street to that little traditional rice ball stall. The setup? I mean, it's about as simple as it gets. A steamer, a pot, a simple tarp for rain, and a handful of plastic stools. This is a perfect example of a light capital business.
Now let's check out its financials. The total investment to get this thing off the ground? Get this, just $100,000. But here's the kicker. Let's say this stall is so ridiculously popular that it also makes the exact same annual profit as the fancy cafe, $450,000. You see where this is going, right?
So when you run the calculation, the ROIC for this little stall, it's not 15%. It's not 50%. It is an unbelievable 450%. I mean, stop and think about that for a second. That is insane. For every $100 this owner put in, they're getting $450 back every single year. This isn't just a fuel-efficient car. It's some kind of mythical supercar that barely uses any gas, but somehow wins every race. And when you put them side by side like this, it's just night and day. A 15% return on one side, a 450% return on the other. They're both bringing in the same profit, but the story of their efficiency, their money-making quality, is on a completely different planet. Okay, so we've got these two crazy different numbers, but what does it all mean? Beyond just being a cool metric, why does this massive difference actually matter so much?
And yeah, you might be thinking, hey, if they're both taking home the same $450K at the end of the day, who cares? Well, it turns out you should care a lot. And it boils down to two critical things: resilience and speed.
First up, let's talk about resilience, or what you might call fault tolerance. Imagine things get rough, a recession hits, and profits for both businesses get sliced in half. For the cafe, its ROIC crashes to just 7.5%. That might not even be enough to cover its loan payments. But the stall, its ROIC is still a monster 225%. It can take a massive hit and still be incredibly profitable. And then there's speed. We're talking about the payback period. The cafe owner has to wait almost 7 years just to earn back their initial investment. The stall owner, they make their money back in less than 3 months. It's not even a competition.
Okay, so this whole breakfast showdown isn't just a fun story. This exact same logic is what separates good investors from great ones when they're looking at which companies to put their money into.
You can pretty much sort most companies into these 2 buckets. On one hand, you've got your high ROIC businesses. These are the cash cows, just like our rice ball stall. Think of a company like Apple, using its powerful brand and tech to make huge profits without building tons of new factories. On the other hand, you have businesses that might have a lower ROIC, but grow by expanding like crazy, kind of like our cafe chain opening new locations everywhere.
Now, it's really important to get this. Neither one of these models is necessarily better than the other. They're just different strategies. In fact, if you own a big, diversified fund that tracks the whole world, you actually own a healthy mix of both, the super efficient cash cows and the aggressive, fast-growing expanders.
So here's what I want you to take away from all this. The next time you're just walking around, look at the stores, the cafes, the businesses, and try to see them through this ROIC lens. Think about the money they're making. That's the numerator. And then think about everything it took to build that place. That's the denominator. And you'll realize these financial metrics, they're not just numbers on a screen. They're literally all around us, hiding in plain sight.